I don't think it's a trap game because we're not in the trap game season. You got to win and you need help. That's not a trap game. You have to win. Like if you overlook Carolina, it's over anyways. So there's no trap game in week 16.
NFL All-City analyst joining us every week at this time. Our guy, Baldy, Brian Baldinger. What's up, Baldy?
Oh, I'm just doing that holiday thing, man. Just getting the things up and getting the gifts and kind of doing some football at the same time, like everybody else, just kind of rushing around a little bit.
Yeah, we're all trying to find time to shop and then also check out all the game film. I'm sure that's high priority. Yeah, right. We're looking at a Cardinals team that finally put the stops to a 3-game losing skid against an albeit 3-win Patriots team, 30-17. What was your takeaway as far as the Cardinals, especially on the offensive side of the football, in that win over Drake May and crew?
Well, you got the big run by Connor. That really, it's 3-0. It's anybody, and you get that and you finish the run. You finish it. I mean, Jonah gets the touchdown, but you jump out to a 10-0 lead. You don't make mistakes. You don't turn it over. You're perfect on third down defense. You see Darius Robbins get his first sack. I mean, there's some things that stood out. Obviously we'll get to Budda, but he's just roaming back there, making every single play, him and Kazir in the middle of the field. And so I thought they played a complete game. Now, it's the New England Patriots, a rookie quarterback. All right. But still, it feels good to win a game convincingly like they did.
Baldy's appearance brought to you by our friends at Verizon Insider Access segment powered by Verizon. Visit a Verizon store, switch to their award-winning 5G network, get a $200 gift card. And Baldy, you mentioned it. Arizona Cardinals extend Budda Baker, 28 years old, 3-year deal, one of the highest for a safety of his age. And I just think that speaks to his presence on the team. The passion he brings. We kind of been tipped off earlier this year that, James Conner was a big priority and they were going to kind of wait and see with Budda. Is it just simple as like Budda became a damn near mandate to extend given his play on the field?
No doubt. No question. You can't let a guy like Budda walk. Safeties are a premium in this business. We saw Xavier McKinney. We've seen Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons. All these top flight safeties all get paid. You let them hit the open market, they're going to get signed. It's not one of these deals, well, go test the market, Budda, and then come back. The top flight safeties move. It's hard to find them in the draft. They don't really have safeties like that in college. It's, they're cover corners, whatever. I think it was the right thing. He leads the whole NFL with safeties with tackles. I think he's second in the league in total tackles. Mm-hmm. He's a beast, and he shows up every week. So I think if you're going to build this thing, you got to build it with strong pillars. You got to build a strong foundation. I don't know, just from a character standpoint and a production standpoint, that you could get a whole lot better on any team than James Conner and Budda Baker.
What have you seen from Budda? Because we've seen him play at a high level for such a long time. 2017, he enters the league. He's a special teams ace and then just pops as far as the safety position. But it really feels like in his second season under Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rollis, he just pre-snap. He seems to be putting himself in such a great position to take down opposing ball carriers. Between Budda Baker and Kazir White, the last 2 games, Baldy, they've got 50+ tackles combined. It's an insane stat, but you can believe it just watching how Budda plays. You call him the Cobra strike out there. What have you seen as far as Budda and where he's taken his game?
Well, I did something at the Pro Bowl with him, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And, I just pointed out, like, you can make all these tackles and you can make all these hits. And I don't know how he does it because when you see him, obviously, he's not a big guy, but he has this ability to strike and he's a great tackler. Every one of his 10 tackles the other day, on the legs, wrapped up, 2 hands. He's not diving at guys' feet, trying to knock them off their feet like some guys. Like, he is a good form tackler. I think it's one of the reasons why he actually stays healthy for the most part. But, I did say that you're not going to get talked about loudly and nationwide or league-wide until you start taking the ball away. And so he has improved that stat. It's not big this year. But it is a concern. I thought he was too intent on making tackles and maybe not seeing enough where you could get the tip balls and jump in front of a receiver, that kind of thing. So I think he's improved in that area. But it's just he seems to have either an incredible instinct of where the ball is going, because he is moving at the snap in the direction where most of the time the play is going, or he just has a great deal of freelance to come out of the sky and come down there in the run game. He tackled every tight end that caught the ball the other day, and just be able to recognize where the ball is going. He's got a sixth sense about that, or Nick just gives him great freelance to go where he feels like he can go make the play.
Baldy, it feels like we're on a collision course, the Arizona Cardinals with the LA Rams in 2 weeks. But before we get there, Cardinals have to take care of business this weekend at Carolina, who, sans last week, they didn't really show up against Dallas. They're much more competitive this year. How would you attack Carolina specifically if you're Arizona? Is it just as simple as you go to the well with James Conner and Trey McBride and then let your defensive ends pin their ears back?
Well, I saw Rico Dowdle run for 150 yards against him. It was right between the tackles. Like, if I'm James Conner and I'm looking at and that's with 3 backup offensive linemen for the Cowboys, like, I'd be pretty excited if I was, the offensive line here, and I was even Isaiah Adams, whatever. Like, I'd be pretty excited about running the ball at them. They've lost their best player early in the year, Derek Brown. He was a great player. But they lost him. So they're, Ashawn Robinson, he's a good player. They took the Eagles the week before to the brink. They could have easily won that game. If Leggett catches that ball at the goal line, he gets behind the safeties, they win the game. So, they've been very competitive. Bryce has played a lot better. Robert Hunt is a Pro Bowl right guard. That guy is both guards, Damian Lewis and Hunt. They're really good players. And they seem to play hard. Bryce Young is trying to prove to the world that he belongs in the NFL, that he's a starter. He's not a backup. Don't write me off yet. So he's doing everything he can right now. The last 6 weeks since he came in for Andy Dalton, I'll bet, without looking at the stats, I believe he's thrown more touchdowns than interceptions since that time.
Kyler Murray was asked today, is this a trap game? And he laughed at it because he's like, hey, our backs are against the wall. We know, we understand the assignment, basically. We just know we have to win this football game. When we watch this team against the Patriots, James Conner, 110 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. You talk about how the Carolina Panthers are right there, maybe run the football. But should there be a sense of urgency to get this passing attack up to snuff going into week 17 against the Rams team and maybe the last opportunities this weekend?
Well, Marvin Harrison is not going to see anybody like Christian Gonzalez. That guy is a lockdown corner. Now, Marvin had his problem. I saw him after the game doing jersey swap or whatever, but that guy is an elite player. Like, if he's not in the top 5 corners in this league, you're not watching football. Like, he is an excellent player, and he had Marvin's number. They tried to get it to him. He didn't let him breathe. But, Marvin does have to, period. Whoever he's playing against this week in Carolina, I could spit out all the corners. But, he's got to go. He's got to start winning some of these matchups. Like, he just does. I said if they're going to get to the playoffs, he's got to be a big part of it. Trey McBride's got to find the end zone. You can't go a whole year and catch 100 passes and not catch a touchdown. The only guy I've seen that ever came, Keyshawn did that one year in Tampa. They were ready to run him out of town. But, I do think the passing game has to get better, especially, if you're on that collision course with the Rams. Maybe this is a good week to work on it. I always feel like I don't think it's a trap game because we're not in the trap game season. You got to win and you need help. That's not a trap game. You have to, like, if you overlook Carolina, it's over anyways. So there's no trap game in week 16. You just got to keep winning. It's a prelude. It's a Final Four. Like, you got to play your way into the postseason. So you can't take any days or any games or anything off at this point. Yeah, you got to finish the season right now. They need 3 wins to get in, and they need some help.
As some teams, licking their wounds, Detroit comes to mind. Some of these teams that are breaking down physically. You look at the Cardinals and their defensive line. They acquire Baron Browning at the trade deadline. He looks like he's turned the corner a little bit. And then Darius Robinson, lo and behold, I think he's played a month's worth of games now. And look at that. He has a sack last week, looks more and more comfortable. What have you seen now from the 27th overall pick, and is it encouraging for you?
Well, I think the encouraging thing was he played more snaps than any other defensive lineman. All right, I think he played 30 or 31 snaps. So he played more than Lopez. He played more than Collier. So now he's not starting, but that might have changed this week. I want my best players on the field. Yep. Like, he's had enough of a warm up here. I think it's time to put him out there. I'd be surprised, honestly, if he doesn't start this week. You got to play your best players. And so I believe, he plays that like basically a 3 technique, when they're in a reduced front to try and stop this rushing attack. Because that's the strength of Carolina. Chuba Hubbard's a good back. That's your strength against these 2 guards. Like, put your best players out there. Like, I think he's earned that right. But, Barron, was a good player in Denver. Got to learn a new scheme. Sometimes an adjustment. He got to the quarterback last week. It's, let's look, quarterback hunting season. This is a good time of the year. You want to go out there and shoot pheasants? That's great if you're a hunter. But if you're a defensive lineman, it's time to go hunt quarterbacks right now.
NFL Network made the choice to pick up the Cardinals and Rams in Week 17. It's a primetime game. It's gonna back cleanup as far as the triple header goes.
Yeah.
Outside of winning on Sunday and making that game just as important, what do you need to see from the Cardinals going up a much improved Rams team that they saw way back in Week 2? And I got to imagine they're a much better football team.
Well, I think they've won 4 of the 5, and they put up 44 against Buffalo, who's a great team. I've seen a couple things. One, the commitment to Kyron Williams is as much as anybody is committing to anybody. He's carried it 29 times each of the last 2 games. He is a great back. Not a good back. He's a great back. He's got contact balance. Like, he catches the ball. He's an excellent pass protector of Matt Stafford. So that's that. They fixed their offensive line. Bo Limmer, the rookie, they were kind of in and out with him. He's their center. Avila's back. Like, they've got their offensive line together. And now, Puka is healthy and he's just a beast. And then Cooper is there. But you can't overlook Tutu Atwell. That guy can just fly. You can't overlook Demarcus Robinson. Like, their offense is clicking. And then defensively, they've drafted 4 guys in the last 2 years. And they're all Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse. Like, they're all good players. And they play the game the right way. And you can just see the arc with these kids. Kobe Turner had 2 sacks last week. He's got 16 sacks. He started 11 games last year. And he started 14 this year. He's got 16 sacks in 25 starts from a 1 technique. There's not many guys that have done that. But I know the kid. He works with this Krav Maga expert in the Israeli martial arts, and you could see his work with his hands and the things that he does inside to stay unblocked. But he's crafty.
This holiday season, check out Baldy's Breakdown Store. Stocking stuffers. Is that what your family can expect? Are you just dishing out your merch this holiday season?
Look, I can, for all my nieces, I just had one today. She loves Christmas. She's got the 7-day countdown going down. She's getting Baldy's Breakdowns like this. She's going to school up in upstate New York. It's 18 degrees outside. You better stay warm. Yeah, they're all getting it. That's it. They're getting the headbands and the hats and the coffee mugs. They're getting the whole assortment of it.
What's the one Baldy family tradition that you guys have around the holidays? Anything?
I'm going to be down in Florida this year, so we're having a big Christmas Eve party. Nice. So the problem right now is I don't know how this has happened exactly, and I don't know if I should say. Like, my girlfriend bought a ham. It's $240 for a ham. I go, that better feed an army.
What?
Like, $240 for a ham. Like, I was
award-winning pig,
and she's pretty thrifty. She goes, oh, but it comes with dessert. I'm like, $240. That ham better be a heavenly ham. So we got ham, we got turkey. I know we're going to have more people than we can count. So that's going to be a fun night, Christmas Eve.
We got to sell some hoodies then if you got to pay $240 for a ham.
We need to sell a few more to pay for this Christmas Eve party.
Fingers crossed we're having some fun with you this time next week as we preview hopefully what will be a pivotal matchup.
Look, you got a battle in the NFC South to Atlanta. They just made the move to PHNX. I thought they would make the move a couple weeks ago, honestly. But this is the biggest. You got a battle in the NFC North. You got a major battle in the NFC West. There's a lot of important football games that are going to feel like that game with the Rams. It's going to feel like a playoff game. Yeah. It's going to be played like one.
It's going to be a great time to introduce new fans to this Cardinal team, and hopefully Kyler Murray's second act. Yes. Last time he played the Rams late in the season on primetime, it was a horror show. Not too many times you get retribution like that. Baldy, you're the best. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, Johnny Boat, you bet, man.